Hi, everybody. It's our regular Sunday live at 5. And today I'm going to be talking to you about a very interesting topic called Starseeds. And it's something that most people don't know about. And so today I thought that let us understand more about starseeds, souls who have arrived on this planet for a particular spiritual reason. And today I have a wonderful guest with me, Shilpa Menon, who's going to be joining us and talking more about starseeds. So, good evening, Sanjeevji, Pallavi, Navneet is joining us too, and we have many others who are going to be joining us because it's a very interesting topic. And we're also going to be talking about how to parent these star seeds. A lot of star seeds have arrived on this planet and they have been here for a very long time also. But how do we parent these children? Because if you're not able to understand the qualities of star seeds, it becomes very difficult to parent them. So, first of all, let me just throw some light on starseeds before I invite our guest today. Now, starseeds, as the name tells us, star, that means these beings have come from extraterrestrial life. That means they've come from universes which are existing beyond this earth plane. And there is a reason why they come here. They come here because they have to serve, not learn. This is very important to understand. They come here because they've already learned many things, but they come here to serve and not to learn anything. They come here, human lives. That means if there are souls who have been on the earth plane for a very, very long time, they generally come here to evolve. Whereas star seeds have evolved because they have lived in other universes for a very long time. And so when they come to the earth, they come here to serve. And they serve through different modalities, and they are basically attracted to healing, alternate healing kind of modalities like Reiki, pranic healing, tarot reading, channeling. These are the things that they're actually interested in. So let us invite our guest in, who's going to be throwing a lot of light on star seeds and what it exactly means. And then, of course, I'll also contribute a little bit to it. So let me invite Shilpa. Shilpa is going to send me a request quickly so that I can invite her. And there she is coming in. And we're going to have a very interesting, enlightening kind of conversation on this very amazing topic. Hi, Shilpa.
Hi, Mom.
How's you?
I'm good. I'm quite excited about today's conversation. So, yeah, I'm really good. Really good. Thank you so much for asking. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good too, because it's a very interesting topic, and it's one of my favorites. So I think let's dive straight into the topic. So tell me about your understanding of star seeds.
So, as you already started the conversation by saying that starseeds are the beings who have come from another planet, another galaxy. So, we are not just your Earth is not the only dimension. There are multiverses, and these are the beings who are very evolved soul who've come from an advanced technology or an advanced planet or solar systems. Of course, there is galaxies to come on Earth to raise the vibrations of Earth. And you very beautifully said they are here to serve. They're not here to learn, they're here to serve. They come with programmed or inbuilt gifts and abilities.
Correct.
Which will open at the right time. It does not necessarily mean that because you're a starseed, you're out there and you're going to be growing and evolving. There is time and space for it. Just like how we talk about the phone, when we upgrade the program on the phone. So there's a right time when the program gets activated And that's when the starseed starts to work for the purpose they've come on earth for. And it is literally to raise the vibrations of Mother Earth.
True. I think what you said is very interesting, that there is a time when the chip in them actually gets triggered. It's not
Right.
from the very beginning that you will see these signs. They actually become visible a little later in life also. You can have a
True.
star that gets activated for what they've come here for in the 20s or the 40s or even the 50s sometimes, because a lot of obstacles are generally around star seeds too. So can you throw some light on the kind of obstacles that maybe a star seed would have when she's very small or he's very small?
So, few things that I realized in the journey, and I knew it's a vast topic, so you cannot contain into 5 traits or symptoms, but whatever I've understood little bit in my own journey and working with couple of star seeds, that one of the more than the obstacles, there is this sense from the time they're born and by the time they become aware that they have this homesickness. There's this feeling of I don't belong here, and I belong somewhere else. They are very massive sky gazers, moon gazers, looking at the star, daydreamers. Even though they may have a good childhood, because now there are categories of waves of consciousness. So the recent consciousness people have, children have good background, or they've chosen their parents with a purpose, the souls. But the initial star seeds have had difficult childhood.
Yes.
They have purposely asked for that, because one of their purpose is to forgive, to love, and to create a sense of belonging and compassion,
True.
and to feel what does it mean to be a human, or was it mean to be born in the human form. So these are some of the things I observed in the beginning, and they're highly intuitive.
Yes.
They do have a lot of imaginary friends, and they're affiliated to nature a lot more. And
True.
they have this sense of this old soul, wise soul feeling, and
Yes.
yet they're freedom seekers and rebels. Uh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. So it's said generally, Shilpa, that there are three kinds of star seeds. So there is one kind of star seed who has had about, let's say, 5 to 50 lifetimes on Earth.
Hmm.
They are kind of familiar with the Earth, but not very good with it. So they are the ones who have a very little experience with, let's say, finance, or how to deal with difficulties that come their way, how to please others. It's very difficult for these people to please a lot of people. So they are kind of um, segregated when they are in a family. They seem different to others because they've not had too many lifetimes on the earth. There is another kind of star seeds or other group of star seeds that have had thousands of lifetimes on this earth. That means they are these seeds who have been here for many, many lifetimes. Like they came here initially to set the earth, to kind of program the earth in a certain manner. So they are these old soul star seeds that are there. So they are quite familiar with how the earth moves. And what you spoke about them being highly intuitive. So these are these old soul star seeds. They will just recognize what your issue is, what your problem is. And they are the ones who have set the tone of this planet as far as, let's say, astronomy goes, astrology goes, numerology goes, healing goes,
Crystals goes, my God, it's like whole gamut of things.
whole. Yeah, so this is that old soul star seeds. And generally most of them, they live here for many years. They keep coming here for many years till a time comes when their work is over, and then they become teachers, masters, mentors, and then they just move away. And
True.
there is other star seeds that somehow get a little lost. They just don't know how to get out, like you said, go home.
Hmm.
This group of star seeds is also there, and they are kind of deeply connected to the other verses, and they kind of keep getting a lot of information from them,
True.
and but they're not able to gel very well. So there are these various, there are a lot of people who say that everybody born on this earth is like a star seed
It
because
is. We're all born from that. Of course, they are. They are.
so
They
one
are.
way or the other, everybody has this need to go away from the earth and gain a lot of knowledge, energy from other multiverses. So Shilpa, tell me a little bit about how do you recognize a star seed? Like, because you and me are both in this profession where we meet a lot of people. So, but that person doesn't know that, like a label of a star seed. So when they come to us, how do you recognize, oh, this person seems to be like a star seed? Tell me some of the pointers or
So the yeah. So first thing that catches my attention is just their auric vibes and the way they are. So it's so intuitive for me because I'm so clairaudient and clairsentient that I feel and hear it. And I literally sense that you're different and you like, or even sometimes the term is like they feel like they're the black sheep of the family. And when you navigate it down and down, I start realizing you're a classic star seed. So that's what, for me, primarily it comes to intuition and the voice.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Um, but they feel like misfits. Okay.
true.
When they come and they start, if we get into a detailed conversation, they feel like they're misfits or they're here to break a pattern. Or a lot of times they will say that we don't even, the ancestral lineage, we are going to create a new wave out of this. It's no longer what we belong to. And we
Yeah.
are here to heal that. It's not that they want to disown themselves, they want to heal that to create a new line. So,
Okay.
and their interest in occult, astronomy, even some of the star seeds, when you ask them certain questions, they're like, ever since I was young, my question was, who am I? What
Yeah.
happens after death? These are some very powerful questions that they will ask that make you realize, no, there is something more to this person than what meets the eyes. The eyes are very deep and sparkly.
Yes. True.
You know,
True.
a lot of times they're also ungrounded because they're
Yes.
so dreamy. you
Correct.
know they're all
Absolutely.
over the place, and that is bound to also happen with star seeds.
Yes.
Multiple interests tend to get bored really fast. In today's term we say ADHD or hyperactive. It's not that, they're just too fast,
Yeah.
and their brains are working faster than an average human being.
You're
So
absolutely.
it could, yeah, sorry, you were saying something.
No, I said you're absolutely right that their brains are working faster than an average Earth child. It's really difficult for them to take a paper and pencil and write, is what I've observed. They just have so many thoughts coming in their head, and they are much better when they speak rather than when they write. And most of them love to type, because it's
Hmm.
easier for them. But even then, I find many of them wanting to draw. And even their
Yes.
are very interesting, Shilpa.
Yes.
They will draw something really out of this, like out of this world. Even their faces or their figures is so different. So what else have you observed about them?
In
Like,
fact, I was going to ask you because when I met you some years ago, and the first statement you had made was, Shilpa, you're a starborn, you
yeah,
know? So I was going to ask you that you've been doing a lot more work around this, and what are some of the things that make you realize that this is a starborn or a star seed or a different kind of a being who's come on earth? In the end, we are all humans.
true,
I
true.
totally believe that. Okay,
Yeah.
we may have different versions, different verses that we come from, but in this moment, I'm a human who's taken a form, and I
Yeah.
may have my roots somewhere else, but I'm here to do something. How do you recognize? Was my question to you.
So many star seeds over the years. How do I recognize? The one thing that most star seeds have is, if you look at the kind of body type, initially you'll have the star seed having a little bit of excess weight. That's the first thing that you will recognize them by. Okay, they will complain about kind of retention of water, or they'll complain, which is what you also complained, if you remember, when you came to
Some
see
years ago, yes.
stuff like that. And they'll also talk a lot about their dreams. They have this very visual mind. So
Yes.
for them, everything is like in pictures. So when they're talking to you also, they will, their eyes will be little large. They'll make it like uh, this is what I saw and this is what I felt, and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of visual talk that they have. And the other thing that is very interesting in a star seed is they have these flight of thoughts. Like they will start with something and then they'll say something else and they'll say something else, and then because obviously we are aware of it, we will bring them back to the ground. So some have so flighty in their thinking that you have to ground them.
True.
So when a person comes to you and they have these qualities, you know that they have come to you because they need grounding and structure.
And direction. How to
And
navigate this energy,
because they have so much of energy and they're interested in many things. They're interested in a lot of things, but they're not able to multitask. They're interested in many things, but they cannot multitask. A
Very
person
true.
who can multitask, Shilpa, is somebody who's been on the earth plane for hundreds of years. Though the person is a star seed, but because they've been here for hundreds of years, they're kind of familiar with the earth. So even a star who's very ancient, who's been here on the also will not be able to handle money. Money is something I have found
I couldn't hear you. Was it your
Have you?
network or mine? Sorry.
No, it was a call. So that's right.
Okay. So money, you were saying something about money, Ma.
Yeah, so I was saying that most starseeds, the ones that I have met, even the ones who've been here for hundreds of years and they've taken many rebirths, are not able to handle money. Money is something that they allow others to handle. Or if they are even managing their money, it's like a drop in the ocean. They'll slowly collect money and then they'll do something with it, So that is very typical of star seeds. And even children, by the way, who are star seeds now, like you spoke about ADHD and children like that, you give them money, they will go out and they will buy something that they are fond of rather than what is useful for them.
True.
It's very typical of star seeds, kids who are actually star seeds. So I can easily recognize, I'm sure Shilpa, you can also now after so many years, it's very easy to recognize them because what you rightly said, they feel that they have to go home. This is not their very typical star seeds when they
And they
talk.
have this big sense of unfulfilled purpose, that I'm here to do something and I'm meant to do something. I don't know what. They tend to get bored so fast because they're putting the fingers in everything until they find that whole journey.
Yeah.
It's a huge loop. And see, I when you said that, I liked what you mentioned about the money part. It's also because they're not grounded, and grounding is to do with root chakra, So, and for them, money is not very important as energy vibes is, like most starseeds I've met will talk about a utopian world where money is not important, but skills are to be bartered and love is to be shared. The John Lennon song Imagine, I think you've seen the big poster even in my house, that I envision that world without borders and peace and harmony and
correct. There's thing, Shilpa, that they will tell you about money is that whenever I need the money,
it comes
to me.
I'll tell you that.
When you were, like when I met you initially, you would always say this to me. And even later, I think, you always had this trust that when I need money, the money will come. This is very typical of star seeds. They're so easy. They're so easy with the world around them, but the world is not easy with them. So that becomes an issue with star seeds, So, yeah, very interesting. And star seeds, when they meet other star seeds, and the kind of conversation that they have, it can go on and on and on, because it's so easy to connect to
Yeah, true. And that's very interesting you mentioned, because most star seeds, even though they want to serve and heal, they will go within because they feel that, oh my God, what I'm going to say is not going to land. People are not in my wavelength. So it's not that they're introverted. They just don't want to expend their energy where they won't be honored or understood. But the moment they meet someone of the tribe or a star seed, then it's unstoppable. They can go And I remember when I was with some of my family members, and they said, if we talk about general stuff, materialistic stuff, and brands, you go off to sleep. And it's true, I knock off. I'm like, it's my sleep time, good night. But the moment the conversation starts about alternative versus dreams, parallel worlds, aliens, and they were like, you were just sleepy, and for next 4 hours you went on and on and on. I said, I'm just energized because I'm talking to someone or talking about something that
Yeah.
brings life for me, you
Uh,
know. So starseeds do not like petty conversations. They get put off. They get very overwhelmed with crowds. They need to take their time out to connect with themselves or
yeah.
to connect with the right set of people that
Correct.
will understand them.
Correct. Have you also noticed? I mean, what I've noticed with the children, star seeds really don't like much physical kind of activity. They are little bit, procrastinated people, and they are termed lazy, but they're not lazy really. They kind of
No.
lose their mind. So that's one of the that's something that I've noticed in the kids, like they're just lying on the bed and they can lie there for hours together, lost in their own little world. And parents will come and say, what are you doing? Why aren't you studying? And they're like, what is there to study? I mean, there's nothing to study. Like, I already know it.
They have this I know it all
Correct.
syndrome.
Attitude.
However, if you really question them, they're able to answer even though they're daydreaming. That's very phenomenal. And that's
Correct.
when you understand they're not lazy or pretending. They
Yeah.
truly are intelligent, and at the same time, they love to float in another realm.
True, true, true. Absolutely true. Shilpa, I always wonder that a lot of parents who are not star seeds have star seeds as their children. I have come across this very often. So, can
Hmm.
you throw some light on why star seeds choose parents who are kind of not star seeds? Can you tell me the reason why this can happen?
So one of the things we spoke on third, was it second or third, where I said that some of the souls have purposely chosen parents like that to awaken the parents,
Hmm. Hmm.
to align them to certain reasons. And last few 2-3 years primarily, I've met with children where the parents reach out to me for healing or counseling for the children, but the people who are transforming in the bargain are parents.
Yes, true.
So that's why they're choosing these kind of parents where they allow their parents who may have their own journey to align to the higher consciousness after a point.
Correct. I think
This
that's
is one of the main purpose why they choose such parents.
correct. And how do you think, and what kind of professions you come across that star seeds generally take? Like I said,
Technically,
astrology, astronomy, even the science of numbers, channeling, mediumship, and all these things. Anything else?
apart from these, actually starseeds are spread everywhere. They're innovators, they're inventors, they're also about advancement of technology because they come from that realm, you know. So they're sorry about that. Yeah. So they are actually everywhere, but their interest is metaphysical realm. Their interest is a lot about healing nature. In fact, with the star seed, they will attract, if it's an adult star seed, animals, human, children, nature will just by default reach out to them and start talking to them.
Correct.
They
Correct.
just attract that kind of vibe. If you're at a coffee shop, somebody will randomly come and start talking to you, saying, I don't know what is about you, but I want to pour my entire life out to you. So
Yes,
they're great
absolutely.
listeners, but there are different star worlds, like Andromeda, Pleiades, Sirius, Orion,
Correct.
just naming a few. So based on the solar system you come from, your job profile will be like that. Some are peacemakers, some
Yeah.
are world creators, some are healers.
Correct. Absolutely, absolutely right. You've spoken about the different worlds through which the star seeds arrive. So, because of the multi-dimensional universe that we live in, there are so many different worlds, and
Hmm.
star seeds coming from any of those worlds, and they come in with those traits then, and that's
Absolutely.
what we do. So there are these amazing worlds that are there. Like you spoke about how the star seeds come into this world, and they have different kind of professions that they take because they are attracted to those professions, and in any
Hmm.
profession that they take, they're the ones who become like the counselor or the listener,
Hmm.
whether. So that's very interesting for all of them. But the interesting part is the parents who parent these star seeds somehow want to make them into, uh, like, slot them into these typical careers. I think, what is it that you'd like to tell these parents? Because I know there are many parents who must be listening to this even later. When they have children who are a little different, who are not like them, like they do want to make them into engineers or doctors or MBAs or business oriented people. How do you counsel such parents? Because that's very, very important today.
I think the first thing is to understand that, or like because star seeds now needs involved parents. They do not
Mm,
want a generic parenting. So the first thing is, are you a one of the parent needs to be very involved and hands-on, because the star seed does demand that kind of energy from the parent. The second is to recognize what are their gifts and skills and not mold them because most star seeds do not like maths also, most
yes.
percentage. When I
Yeah.
meet them, they're like, I was good in my maths, but my daughter failed in maths. And they are very good with linguistic, artistic stuff, expression, even silence. They're very good with spaces. So it's
Mm,
important to recognize what are your children's gifts and skills and not what are your expectation of your children. That's a very important thing which most parents, fault into that, other parents' children are doing so well, but my child is not doing any of this. So my first request is stop comparing. Your child is everybody's child is unique, but
yeah.
your child is a little more different and has different energies. Just pay attention to what they are saying, how they are behaving. Ask them about their dreams, their journeys, and you will understand what is their fascination. And
True.
then allow those skills to be developed. At the same time, of course, do get your child into grounding activities, physical movements, because it's a star child, it can tend to get lost. So, Tai
Mm,
Chi or any yoga or movement based stuff which gets the chi get out is equally important.
correct. Correct.
Uh, yeah, like when I was doing my facilitation and training in corporate, I'd come across this entire model called as the Harvard Gardner's model. Ma, you must have heard about multiple intelligence.
Correct.
This is another way to recognize what is your child's gift, not what you think it is. It music? Is it language? So for parents, it's important to recognize, is he a naturalist? Because a lot of children love nature and we put them back saying, ganda ho jayega, immunity kharab ho jayegi. So
Correct.
can you recognize your child by spending good time and listening to the likes? You
Mm,
tend to understand that my child is different and whatever my child is saying is quite a lot. They will tell you about which uncle and auntie is not right. And that tends to be apt.
yes.
So
Yes.
honor them, don't force fit them, don't convince them to go by your customs, and yet find a bridge for them to align with you. Star
Absolutely.
seeds do not like authority or being told this is how you should be doing. They have to be explained. They have to be given a lot of logic around why they need to do what they need to do. And probably then they'll be able to understand you better.
Yeah, and also they have their own system of logic, by the way.
Yeah.
Your logic is not going to work. So what you just said is absolutely right. If I have to just uh, kind of uh, kind of rephrase or the whole thing correctly, one is, I think, speak calmly to your star seeds, because
Hmm.
they can become rude. They will bang the door because they want space, like you rightly said. No, they want their own space and they want you to respect that space also. So if you barge in, if you push them to do something that they don't want to do, they may be rude, and you may think that they are actually insulting you, but that's not true. It's because you are not respecting their space that they kind of, it seems that they are kind of rebelling against you, but that's not
Hmm.
right. So first thing I would tell parents is speak calmly. Whatever you want to tell them, like she just said, Shilpa just said, give them some logic, a logic that works for them. So the logic that will work for a star seed is not the traditional logic. That तुम्हारे पापा ये कहते थे और तुम्हारे ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स ये कहते थे. They will rebel if you give them this kind of customized logic, okay? But
If can I add to this, Ma, if you don't mind, is that okay?
yeah,
Storytelling works very well with starseeds.
correct.
You
Yes,
want them to do something, give them a story with the narrative and moral of the story without giving them the moral of the story, and they get the sense of what are
correct.
you trying to drive or derive at home.
And you know, Shilpa, when you tell them stories, they will turn around and say, "Oh, do you want me to learn this?" You know,
Mm,
they get the gist of what you're trying to get at. Even before you can tell them, they will actually tell you that. So this is something important. Speak calmly to them. Don't push them. Don't make them Don't make them like kind of copies of you, because they are
mm,
not going to become copies of you. The second thing that you said is to trust their skills. That's what exactly you said. Trust their abilities. They have certain abilities which are different. So
mm.
accept their differences. Like you said, don't compare them. So accept their differences. There are some differences that they have. And one thing I've noticed, Shilpa, that they are very radical in the way they express about anything, whether it is cinema, politics, books. They have their own opinion. And
True.
most parents today don't like that their children have an opinion apart from them. So I think this is something I want to tell parents, Shilpa and me want to tell parents, that accept that they have a different opinion than yours, and that they are able to express their opinion. As a parent, you have to give them that space, that they are willing to express what they feel. And for that, honest and open communication between the parent and the child is a must. Because if
True.
you're going to block the child's creative juices, then you're just going to make the child lazy, procrastinating, and not kind of keen to have a conversation with you.
But they also end up getting depressed if we do not allow them to blossom. I'm meeting a lot of depressed starseeds too. Is
Yes.
because they want to do something and they're not asked to, and they feel there's something wrong with them innately. The
Hmm.
voice is saying something else and the parental voice is something else, and there's a humongous conflict. So yeah, true, allow what you said, they do get lazy, procrastinating. The final outcome could be depression and feeling absolutely disconnected with themselves.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So the confidence of these star seeds needs to be raised.
Mm,
So it's important to support them in whatever they are thinking and doing. They're not going to follow or toe your line. That's something that as a parent you will have to understand and accept. And moment you accept that, they feel validated. And when that happens, they will shine in whatever field that they take. A lot of starseeds, as we know, go into music, writing, painting, healing, all these different modalities that have come up in the last 25 years, maybe the last 10 years more, is because these starseeds have begun to express themselves. And also the environment of the society is also changing. They are
true.
willing to accept these people, and that's how we are seeing the world actually becoming more beautiful, as if there is so much of unity in actually diversity. So that's what we are seeing today, and that's only because we have given the star seeds a platform to express themselves. Shilpa, it is so beautiful that the more and more star seeds that we meet, we kind of feel more confident that the earth is moving towards the right direction, and
Absolutely.
it's growing, it's beautiful, it's evolving in such a wonderful manner. Shilpa, tell me, um, as a star seed, and as a younger star seed, I mean, we have older star seeds also, but as a star seed, what happens when you get into intimate kind of relationships? Because it's a very interesting area for a star seed.
So
So, any idea
well,
that how
yeah,
that?
I can share whatever little I can speak of. Uh, but starseeds love their freedom and space. So even if they enter into a relationship, it cannot be from the conventional space of time, you know. if you put them into a label or a conditioned space, they will walk out of it and they will want to break from that pattern because that is not how they look at a relationship. So, intimacy for them is a very big thing because just in general, it takes them forever to feel meet a vibe, a tribe member, and feel connected. So now, when you're talking about intimacy, it means you're really allowing someone to see all aspects of you: the vulnerable, the dark, the wild, the sober. Uh, and so they either be in a space where they are understood, or they will fling out of a space very fast because the and starseeds are evolved and they're already evolving faster. So if somebody doesn't match up to their pace, they will leave the person behind and just move on, saying, "Our journey till here, but I need to figure myself a little more." So it's not very easy for them to be very intimate. It takes a very long time. If they get there, then it is there to stay because they need someone who can anchor them. They're already flying.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shilpa, you've hit the nail on the head because most star seeds have a difficult time with actually giving up their freedom. They are
Absolutely.
not very comfortable with the so called society norms. So the norms actually stifle them. So I want to tell parents, especially if your star seed child is 17, 18, 20, and about you are pushing the child get married, you're 25, you're 27, it's not going to work for them because star seeds generally take, like Shilpa said, a lot of time to build that trust, to build that confidence, to feel comfortable that they will be okay with this person or this person will actually understand them. So it takes a lot of time for them to do this. And then if you're going to push them to, you know, do it because they're at a certain age, that's not how star seeds think. So this is a very important thing, especially for star seeds that are much older. Um, Shilpa, once they enter an intimate kind of space, um, how do you think star seeds should be treated by their partner?
That's
Because
an
this is
interesting
another
question.
very, very important area for older star seeds. There are a lot of star seeds that come to us who are younger, but a lot of them come to us who are much older, who are already having problems in their marriage or their kind of relationship.
Hmm.
What would you tell a partner, let us say, somebody who's listening to us here, who may not have the starseed qualities, but says, okay, my God, I think I'm married to somebody like this. So, how should this partner deal with such a
A, allow them their me time.
Hmm,
B, listen to them because starseeds, if not heard, do not feel loved.
correct.
So
Absolutely.
you have to listen. You create a quality time, whatever that be for both of you. But really listen, not because you're, and it's a fine line between hearing and listening. Listen. Starseeds expect their partners to understand the underlying meaning or the unspoken words, which is because it's, though they want to express, what they truly feel is very challenging them for them to express to its fullest. So truly listen to what they're saying, but what they're not saying, through the gestures, through the behaviors. That's more important for the partners. Give them the me time when they demand. It's not because they don't love you, it's because they are gathering themselves back to align, to work on the space back with you. But if you push the door for them, it's going to break free and you're really allowing a volcano to come through.
Correct.
Third, their philosophies, the Starseeds philosophies are little different. I mean, we are all different in different ways, but theirs is little too different. So you don't have, and Starseeds really honor if you don't follow their principles or their belief system. However, in the same breath, they want you to let them do what they want to do. So do not ridicule their belief systems. Do not ridicule what they feel or they are sensing. You you don't have to follow it, but give them the space to be in the flow of their path.
Absolutely. And also, Shilpa, I just want to tell the partners who are possibly with star seeds is you have got attracted to the star seed
On a
because of
purpose.
the quality, right? And so because you've got attracted to that quality, it could be a very hippie like quality, It could be this freedom loving quality. It could be because the person has so many different thoughts. And when you are with a star seed, you actually feel so energized and loved. And so that's the reason you've got attracted in the first place. So now that you are married or you are in a committed kind of relationship, this is when the appreciation needs to come the way of the starseed. So that the starseed starts feeling, the person starts feeling actually loved. And one thing, Shilpa, I've always noticed it in starseeds, that once they start feeling loved and committed, they go all out.
They
You know,
empty the well.
correct. They'll
They go
empty
all out.
and they will go all out to take care of you, to buy you things, to just make you feel so much loved and cared. So these are these beautiful qualities that star seeds have. So whether you're married to a star seed, whether you're parenting a star seed, whether you are yourself a star seed. So Shilpa, tell me, how should a star seed, one thing that I've seen with star seeds is that they do go through a lot of heartbreaks because they can't find that partner that is resonating with them
True.
sometimes.
Yep.
So how should a star seed, because we speak a lot of self-love nowadays, everybody says love yourself. But for a star seed to love themselves is actually difficult. For a earth being to love herself is still easier because the person tends to gel, okay, adjust, adapt, compromise. But for a starseed, it's not like that. They are these beings that are so unique in themselves that they are kind of rejected early on in life. Later on, of course, they find themselves, but early on in life, they kind of pushed aside, especially if they have siblings, who are not star seeds.
True.
Then kind of pushed aside, they are made to feel that they're different, and different means not good.
True.
So such a star seed, when they're growing up, especially when they're 15, 16, 18, 20, because they're going to be surrounded, they have not yet met their tribe.
True.
So how does such a star seed begin to consider themselves as lovable, worthy? This is a challenge.
It is. And all this comes in hindsight, to be very honest. Uh, but if I had to meet someone like that, probably the first thing I would recommend and suggest, I recently met a 14-year-old actually, and I was like, the first step is to believe in yourself. It's self-love is much later, is to
Correct.
believe who you are and to recognize your own values. What are my values? What are my emotions?
Hmm.
And because they very aptly said they feel very rejected, so it's very important for them to introspect in a way and to understand who am I, really who am I. And these questions with Starseed starts at 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Yes,
So it's
absolutely.
about, yeah, it's about them now funneling those processes and recognizing, okay, this is who I am, this is what I feel, and it's okay if I'm different. So the acceptance that I am different is a very important thing at that point. So self belief, acceptance that I am different, and it's okay to be different.
True.
But third, just because you're different, and this was my realization many years later, does not mean that I'm looking for the right set of words, but um, feeling different can make you feel alienated with others.
Correct. Correct.
So the question that I was helped by my guides back in those days was that now that you are here and oh great, you're a star seed and a star born, but you're on earth as a human being. How do you from this moment work for earth? How do you, and charity begins at home, so how do you now start with your first family? Okay, you're different, but how do you try and create that space in your first circle itself instead of alienating?
Hmm.
And a step downwards is self belief and knowing your intrinsic values.
Yeah. I think, Shilpa, what you've said is very important. The last thing that you said about knowing that you are now here. It's
Hmm.
like, you've got married and now you're in this house. and these are the people that you're going to live with. So you just have to adjust a little bit to what they are kind of expecting of you. So when
Absolutely.
correct. So when a starseed realizes at a point that okay, I'm here, and this is my kind of temporary home, so as to say, as we all are here for a particular time period. So this is my temporary home, and now to make this temporary home most comfortable for me, not for others, because a
Ab-
starseed doesn't think about others, but about me. If I want to make this home comfortable for me, what do I do? Because this is the people I'm going to be living with, and I'll have to earn some money and I'll have to support myself.
Absolutely.
Sure, that a starseed requires. If that structure can be, like you rightly said, told through stories, or most starseeds are so fond of reading books, which are
Mm,
really interesting. So I think through books of mentors, that you read and you understand the real, the real reason why spirituality is there with you or within you. I think
mm.
I feel that when starseeds understand the real meaning behind the spiritual essence that you are carrying and what is it for, then they build a structure.
Yeah,
Till
and it's very interesting, Ma. I'm just going to add in the same line of conversation that it's easy to say star seeds are different, but so everybody should understand my perspective, my point of view, and I feel that needs to shift. Saying, can I look at others from their perspective and their point of view as well, and
correct.
yet stay in my point of view?
Correct. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So, like,
That is what will create a structure that can I see you as you and can you see me as me? And then we can find a way to become we, you know?
correct. I think what you have said is that when you are a star seed and you have now recognized your difference and you're asking others to kind of validate you, the first step, I think, what we are all coming to is that am I able to see you as how you are? Because then maybe you will be able to see me as I am. So it's really about seeing each other. It's about listening to each other's needs or expectations or desires, because as a star seed lives on the planet, on the earth, and has multiple lifetimes, they kind of they start resonating with the earth space. At the same time, they retain their essence. So the challenge for all star seeds, or rather for every human being here, is that you understand, you mirror others till a point. At the same time, you retain your own spirit, and that's how you
Absolutely.
will become part of this wonderful earth space and contribute to it in a big
Very
way.
beautifully said, Ma, because most our children are mirroring the dysfunctionalities of the family for it to shift,
Yes,
you know.
yes,
And
absolutely right.
but we are also telling the star seeds that you also need to mirror others. When I see you, you'll have to see me. So we all have to see each other as a reflection of beings born on earth.
Absolutely right. Yeah. This is such an amazing subject because when I work with my children at school with their parents, this is exactly what I tell them. And I've also had, I mean, a lot of parents coming in who are star seeds, and they have children who are like star seeds, and I can see the way they gel with each other. And then there's another set of parents who are possibly not able to understand. And I genuinely think that I think Shilpa and me would love if parents come in on some of the lives here and talk about their different challenges that they have when they are beginning to parent star seeds. Let's see if there are any questions, Shilpa. And
Sure.
I think even you can scroll, right?
I'm going to try because my screen just stopped in between. So,
Okay, so I'm just going to look at some of the questions here. Okay, Aman says that same happened with me. I used to gaze at the stars for long hours. I used to feel I don't belong here. Once even I told my mom I'm at the wrong place at the wrong time. Okay, Aman, so you have understood. I mean, you know now that, you are actually a star seeds. Anu is also saying that she echoes with what we are saying. Karthik is saying it's very relatable. Aarti Jain says, कहने को साथ अपने दुनिया चलती है. But possibly it's not like that. So yeah, friends, any questions you'd like to ask? Okay, there's a question.
There was a question asked by Sujay.
Sujay, yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Sujay. I missed. What is it, Ma? Because my screen has gone off again.
You, Shilpa, do they have any memory of the place from where they have come from? Sujay is asking.
Yes, Sujay, it does come in fragments. Like I mentioned in the beginning, that there's a fascination towards stars, towards moon, ETs, and the kind of movies they will watch or the books they read. And even Dr. Chen Ma very beautifully mentioned that pay attention to the vivid dreams. So there is a type of a dream where your memories of other lifetimes or other worlds do show up for you. So yes, a lot of them do have these memories. Some of them will also have this fascination towards the Egyptian building world, the Mayans, the Perus, the Atlanteans, the Lemurians. So there is this certain different way that you connect with some civilization or the fragments of like for me, it happened in Pune, where I was just gazing at the sky and I started getting answers. Where am I from? Who am I? What beings are there? It does come gradually only when you're ready, not before that, which I mentioned in the beginning, that there's a pre-programmed time capsule given to all of us. If we cannot handle ourselves, it can take us to a very different dimension and place. So it's about the right timing when the information starts coming to you in fragments, slowly and slowly. The newer generation is getting it faster. Mine took a while, and Ma's generation, only Ma can answer what happened in that time, you know. So, but it
Yeah,
does come to you. The
yes,
glimpses do come to you. Yes.
yes, Sujay, it does come to you. Um, I remember when I was very young, and like I think I learned a language. I was not living in India when I was very small, but I just knew how to speak Hindi, though, and I just learned it by watching movies. So when I came back to India, I just knew how to speak Hindi, and I would follow Hindi just through movies. So sometimes star seeds have that innate quality. They can pick up things, especially languages, like Shilpa rightly said. They're very attracted to different kind of languages. So the children, they just know things. Sometimes they just are able to, they can paint beautifully. They're interested in music, they're interested in many of these things. So they know that there's something different about them. So that is very common. In
Yeah.
my generation also, we are attracted to a kind of professions, caring professions is very common for star seeds. Naturally, you're attracted to that profession. Like many of my students know, when I was hardly 15, I volunteered at a old age home to feed the old people. I mean, I'm only 15. Even the nun was surprised. Darling, you're very small. You're in school still. Why are you coming to feed old people? It's a natural instinct that we want to be where we are needed the most. This is
The need to be needed is very high, by the way.
very high, by the way. Yeah. Okay, so let's see if there's any other question here. Okay, Geeta asks how to improve this issue in one's life. So I think Shilpa and me have kind of spoken about it. But Shilpa, any more insights on how do you improve this issue? Like, how do you gel with the world around you?
So
Any,
is that the question? The issue means how do I connect?
I, maybe that's what she meant.
If she can clarify, because I'm confused with what issue is this. Geeta, can you clarify your question, please?
Try how to improve this issue in one's life. Um, maybe it's about how to take care. I think there's another lady who's asked, Ritu asked, what I've been thinking about for the last few days, how to take care of my son. So maybe based on that, the lady must have asked about how to improve, like how to take care of your children, maybe.
So I think one part we mentioned earlier, Ma, that getting to involve parenting and really listen to what is spoken and unspoken, get in touch with their creative abilities.
Mm.
Fourth is primarily storytelling,
Yes.
or even make them draw. If they are into drawing, then the artwork will speak a lot about what they're feeling, sensing, and trying to communicate to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, guys, just start working upon all this. Okay, that's really very
And
important.
also accept them as they are and do not expect them to fit into the mold the way you want them to fit in.
Yeah,
That's very, very, very important.
yeah. It actually reminds me of a little girl in my school, Shilpa. There was an art competition, and she had used all the colors on the page. Okay, and they were just blobs, but they were
Hmm.
forms. So the art teacher showed it to me and said, "Isn't this a beautiful drawing?" And I said, "Yeah, it's really lively and colorful and all that." She said, "Yeah, but the thing is that I can't make out what is what because there's just blobs of color." I said, "But the child must have imagined something and drawn it. So why don't you speak to the child?" So I remember the little girl was called in my office, and the art teacher and me were sitting with her, and we said, "What a beautiful drawing you've done, my dear. Can you just tell us what is it about?" And give it, okay? She had made green patches on the paper, and she said, "This is grass," and some
Hmm.
brown. I think this is a tree, and the orange and yellows, that's the sky. And she had a name for all the colors, okay? She had a form for all the colors, though there was no structure. This is a child I'm talking who's really small, okay, 4 5 years old. Okay, and that's really how star seeds will start to express themselves through art. So if you're trying to put a structure on them, then it's not a great idea, because let them express themselves in the way that they do the best.
And if you tell them that the painting is bad, they will stop. So
Yeah.
the best way to know your child is to ask, I wonder why you did that, and what does this color mean for you? And what were you thinking of in that moment? And if you tell them, no, the tree should have a trunk and branches, are like, no, but that's not how I see it, you
Yes,
know? Because
absolutely.
their sensing is different, their vibrational frequencies are different. So you'll have to know your child through these kind of activities.
Yeah, yeah. I think art, dance, drama is a lovely way for children to express themselves, and most of them, take up some unusual characters. Like, you expect them to, take a character which is like very sweet and cute and stuff like that, but they will choose something which is dynamic, which is.
Hmm.
And then I have seen parents say, "Beta, तुमने ऐसा क्यों किया? तुमको, you should have become this character." Even I remember in Shilpa in school, now when they have these fancy dress competitions, these Starseed children, some of them come up with some amazing fancy dress characters, and some of them don't win.
Hmm.
The judges are possibly not able to understand the uniqueness with the way that star seeds express themselves. So it is possible, parents and friends, that as star seeds, our children, or even you for that matter, may have been shortchanged. You may have felt that people are not able to recognize your potential, your intellect, your art, but just have patience, because you're not here to get others to validate you. You are here to
Absolutely.
validate others. So that's really the most important thing that star seeds have to understand. Shilpa, any last few words, my dear?
No, that's it. I think I'm just so happy to talk about all of this, and we've covered it all.
Yeah.
But the story that goes that there is nothing in an acorn seed that it knows is going to be a gigantic tree. And so that's what I'm going to tell all the star seeds, that you may feel you are very little, but if you really allow yourself, just your own self, to nurture yourself, to nourish yourself, there will come a time where you will become this beautiful white tree who's out there to go help people and give each and because trees are very giving, very nurturing. There's not a part of their I'm going to call it body, but a branch or leaves or fruits or roots that is not given back to the universe or to Mother Earth. I want you to remember that for sure, that you may feel like you're a tiny seed, but you're far more than you think you can imagine yourself to be.
One,
Believe in yourself.
we should definitely end on this lovely analogy because it's true. You know, we are all here to give back to society. We are here to make Mother Earth a more beautiful place, a more nurturing place, a more giving place. And that's all that we have to do. So thank you, Shilpa, for joining in. It was a
Thank you for letting me be a part of this beautiful conversation.
thank you, my love.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all for being here. And do share the live with others also, because I think this topic is so interesting that everybody would be interested in it. Either you are a starseed, or you're parenting a starseed, or you're married to a starseed. So I think there is a starseed in your life somewhere, I'm sure. So thank you so much. Bye, my dear. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.